Hey, welcome guys. It's time for Bollox Talks and Tangents. We're here on Thursday, 6:34. That's what we do. And we're going to be talking about fast foods and history of fast foods. Lenny's still over there writing. We can't read his writing. I don't even know how Lenny reads his own writing. I have 5 notes. Lenny has 65 notes. We get to 4 of those. He does a lot of research, but, he never gets to share as much as it would be a 42-hour show if we did all of Lenny's research. But I want to say thank you guys for tuning in with us. We appreciate you guys. We definitely appreciate our sponsors. And tonight's whiskey of the week is actually a moonshine, Lenny. It's all right. It's a moonshine.
We had a rum runner drive it up here in a stock car.
Mm-hmm. It's a moonshine, and it is from Citygate Spirits.
One of my favorites.
Citygate Spirits, and they're along with St. Augustine Distillery. They're going to continue to sponsor with us. They re-upped with us again, and they shared a cola moonshine. I've had a lot of moonshines.
Right.
I don't know if you know this, but my family's from the South.
Okay.
And we like alcohol, so I've had a lot of moonshines. Have you had a lot of moonshine, sir?
Well, just a brief tangent. My grandfather used to make grappa from when my grandfather used to make his own wine. And then they would take the stems and the seeds from that and distill that to make a grappa, which is basically moonshine. It's a brandy, and it'll put you on your butt.
A brandy.
Well, it's a brandy. It's a eau de vie. It's an aperitif.
I don't think you're fully grasping the concept of moonshine.
Oh no! This is very high proof. Yeah. Grappa and grappa.
But it tastes like a brandy.
Well, if you get enough grape flavor in it, it can. But otherwise, it's just white lightning.
White lightning,
which is moonshine.
Moonshine. That's where I think of. And we got some
long way to get there.
We got some cool flavors at Citygates, and we're working with a cola. And I've never had a cola moonshine before, and it's a very creamy cola moonshine.
Right. It's almost more cream soda than cola, but there's a cola in the background. Mm-hmm. And it's creamy on the tongue, so it's got a nice texture to it, if you can say that, viscosity.
I'm going to give this kind of a vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
A vanilla Coke moonshine.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Are you with me?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Yeah, that's the creamy nature of it for sure.
Yeah. So I mean it's yummy.
It's tasty.
It's yummy. It
could be dangerous.
It's almost. Yeah, I was going to say it's almost sweet enough. It could be dangerous if you got a little out of hand with it.
Yeah.
What's the proof on it? Did you say?
30. It's 60 proof. It's 30%.
60
ABV.
proof, 30% alcohol.
Yeah. So
okay. All right.
So it's safe, but it's also sneaky.
Oh yeah, it definitely is sneaky.
Add a little club soda to that, and you can just throw them back.
Bursting notes of vanilla. We nailed that.
See that? We're good at what we do.
Black cherry, sarsaparilla root. So it's got a little root beer to it.
Okay.
And a good passion nostalgia. Yeah, that is. I'm gonna give this a 9 on our whiskeys of the week. We should start giving ratings on the whiskey of the week. What do you think?
I'm in for that.
All right. What number are you going to put on this one?
A mere 7.
A 7.
A mere 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a hard ass, but it's tasty. It goes down easy, but advertises cola. I wanted more cola. I wanted a little bit more cola punch. Okay. So I'm only going to give it a 7.
See, I think the vanilla pushes it to the 9 for me.
Okay.
So I like vanilla Coke.
Yeah, and I don't.
And I don't drink a whole lot of colas anymore. I don't
drink a whole lot of soda at all anymore. And I used to be a Tab man for years. I still have 2 Memorial cans of Tab in my closet just for posterity.
Yeah, you brought one in.
Yeah,
brought one in for when we did the sodas.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking about fast foods. Meehan's Irish Pub, not fast foods. None of our sponsors are fast foods, and we're not being judgy on fast foods, but none of our sponsors are fast foods. They're quality foods. Meehan's Irish Pub, 3 bars in one. You have the Oyster Bar upstairs, Johnny's Oyster Bar upstairs. You have the pub with the new floors downstairs and the backyard. Reggie knocks it out of the park every time, and just wonderful, wonderful staff over there. All right, another place with a great staff on a sponsor row is St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They're so knowledgeable about the artifacts that they have, and just entertainment. Every time you go, you're going to see something new.
And it's a good thing that I've gone to that museum a couple of times because, last night in trivia at the Beacon on Wednesday night, there was a question about Edward Teach.
Oh, yeah.
And it taught a lot of people who didn't know that he was actually Blackbeard.
Yes. So. Yeah. So, very short career span Edward Teach had. And, the Pirate Museum will will teach you about Edward Teach. So, all right, River and Fort, this restaurant right there located across from the fort, right on the river. They have amazing food, great wine selection, great bourbon selection. They have 2 amazing bars in there, 3 different levels.
Great views.
Just probably the best views in town for your dining experience. All right. And you actually got to go to the Roosevelt Room.
Roosevelt Room is wonderful. I would go back in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
The menu's amazing, isn't it?
Yep. And it's the menu's a little deceiving because the breakfast component of the menu is a small part of it, but it's got enough there that you can build and mix and match and do anything you want with it to build yourself a breakfast. I mean, I went traditional. I had a couple eggs over easy, sausage patties, the potatoes, which they call confit potatoes, were just fried in duck fat and just outstanding. Finished every one of those.
You and I need to go down and we'll do a sampling.
Sure.
And in case you don't know what the Roosevelt Room, it's located right next to Prohibition Kitchen. I actually had lunch at the Chianti Room, part of that same group yesterday. The lasagna was like the size of this room.
Wow.
I mean, we decided we were going to split the lasagna, and then we're going to get a small pizza because they have the 10-inch pizzas.
Okay.
And we got the garbage can pizza with the lasagna, and we took 60% home. So, I mean, just great portions right there. It's located behind Prohibition Kitchen if you walk through the old Pizzali's.
Right, yeah.
Pizzali's Chianti Room. But the great thing about the Roosevelt Room, a lot of people don't know about, is the event space that they have. They rent out up to 75 people. That's a pretty big.
It's a pretty room.
That's a pretty big space, and it's a beautiful room located right on St. George Street. And they can cater and create a menu for your event, which is hard to find in a lot of places. And if you go to the Roosevelt Room, you understand how talented the chef is.
Yeah. And if you have a party there, all the tourists on St. George Street are going to press their nose against the glass and be very jealous that they weren't invited.
Very envious, and then you drop the curtains on them.
That's exactly right. Or they better give a gift. Either way, know.
Leave something at the door.
That's it.
All right, we had tacos today, so I'm hiccuping a little bit. That's
it's
I don't know
Taco
if it's the moonshine or the tacos. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. These guys are the best at tax. They're my CPAs. They've been my CPAs for decades, and I'm still here, not in jail. So they're doing an amazing job just with that. Just appreciate the advice that they give. I can tell you, the lottery's really big right now.
It's just under 600 million.
600 million. The other one's like 162.
Yeah.
If I ever win, my first phone call is going to be Abare, Kresge and Associates.
I can do a lot of good.
I'm going to call them before I call Blake. Sorry, Blake. I'm going to call them before I call you. And Blake he just waved to me with one finger. But these guys just know how to do it right. They get things right, and they keep you out of trouble. If you think you're saving money on doing your own taxes, you're wrong. You're just not doing it. Give these guys a call, Abare, Kresge and Associates. All right, Coquina Coast Realty. Coquina Coast Realty, if you're looking right now to be in the commercial investments, if you're looking to, come up with a second home, maybe a revenue-producing home or something like that, give me a call. I have some private listings. Coquina Coast Realty, my number is 904-669-7901. They're income producing. Give me a call if you're interested. If you're still looking for a place to live or rent, give me a call. I have some of those also.
So when I win the lottery on Saturday, then you can set me up with some investment properties.
I got some investment properties just sitting there for you.
Wonderful. And then I can just do some wonderful philanthropy.
That's all you have to do.
That's all I need to do. Just be
You can actually
beneficent.
live off the revenue of these.
Yeah.
Put your money in interest,
right.
and let it just gather up, and then you can save the world.
That's part of my goal, or just make people's lives easier.
Yep. So
if we can do that.
Oh, don't worry, we'll find a way for you to spend it.
Oh, wow! just one of my favorite Doonesbury cartoons was Zonker, the stoner slacker character in that, won a lottery, and he couldn't understand where all the money went, and he said, "Well, I got some magazine subscriptions." I got a couple of other things. I bought new underwear. He said, I don't understand where all the money went. And then he thought about it for a second. Oh, yeah, I bought a Monet.
A Monet. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that Monet. That little sketch artist.
Yep.
All right, so to jump into it real quick, we got some word origins out there.
Yes.
And, I just don't want to, I don't know what your word origins are going to be. So I don't even want to take a wild-ass guess at it.
Well, because with me, you'll never know where you're going to go.
Wait.
But where'd you get that? Where did you get wild ass guess from?
Wild ass guess. Where does that come from? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I'm going to find out. I have a feeling.
Okay, I did not realize this but it's a military. It came from the
Really?
military. It's like a snafu
Well, that I understand.
or fubar.
That I understand as well.
We might have to use those later.
We can spread them out with real words later.
Yes,
Right.
but it was a military term where it started with a wild ass guess, and then it became a swag. You know what a swag is? A scientific wild ass guess.
Oh, okay, which is still a wild ass guess.
Still a wild ass
Okay.
guess, but we're going to throw science on the front of it.
Okay.
All right, that means you got a little bit of information, but now we're going to guess at what the rest of it is.
Okay.
So that's your swag. All right. So it actually is a military term. It became more popular in the 70s and 80s. It kind of started earlier, but at the end of Vietnam they started using it, and then in the 80s it became kind of a common term. And now it's in not just military; it's in everyday.
Is it an acronym, or did it just come out of people not knowing what the hell they were doing and they taking a proverbial stab in the dark?
A swag, yeah, it was
right,
a stab
which we've done before.
Yeah,
Right.
well, you shouldn't have. You just jumped to my next one. Did you even mean to do that?
Well, no, it just was a natural flow.
Okay.
I'm not even reading that. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't even read it, but that's my next one is a shot in the dark.
Okay.
But we're not going to go to that one. But it basically that's all it was just a wild ass guess.
Okay.
Like we took a little bit of information, and now we got to try and make it work.
All right.
So, but it came from the military.
All right. Good for them.
Okay.
I went bread and butter. You want the bread or you want the butter?
I'm more of a butter guy.
Okay. You ever hear? You're a smooth talker. You ever butter anybody up?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lots of times.
You talk to them about nice things. You lavish them with praise. You beguile them with wonder, and it's all to try to manipulate them to get your own way, or to lubricate them or grease them up to make something easier for you from them.
Lenny, my dad does it to me all the time. Just saying.
Okay.
Well, Blake, you're so intelligent that that's what you have.
You don't fall for it, do you?
Once in a while, I might have to.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah, but knowing Blake, he writes them
But
down.
I thought buttering someone up was like there was a ritual like in India where they threw butter. Okay,
That's exactly where it came from.
Butter at the idols.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. So you're familiar. So you're familiar with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In India, in the Hindu religion, they would take ghee, and ghee is clarified butter. As a matter of fact, I have containers of ghee that I use to fry my eggs because there's no milk solids in it, so it burns cleaner and doesn't burn, and it
So it
makes
doesn't
it
create the smoke. It doesn't.
correct.
Create
And there's nothing that gets darker or burns in there, and it gives you all the butter flavor. But they would take balls of ghee, clarified butter, and throw them at their idols, their statues. And that was to get them buttered up in hopes that the buttered up gods would reward the faithful with a good harvest. So that's where that one comes from.
Yeah. All right. But we'll quick tangent. So have you ever heard of the myth where if you butter up toast and if you knock it down off a table, it always lands butter side up? What do you think about that myth?
Butter side up.
Butter side
no,
down.
it's usually butter side down.
It's
That's
butter
the
side
problem,
down,
right?
not butter side up.
Right. If it's butter side up, man, you're a lucky man, and go buy a lottery ticket, and I'll give you $1 so we can split the winnings. I'll share it with you because that's lucky.
Down.
Yeah.
If you get your bread to fall butter side up,
You're in good shape.
well, you defied a lot of physics.
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
because the weight's on the butter side. All right, so shot in the dark.
What a surprise.
Yeah, shot in the dark. You didn't even see it coming, did you?
No.
Because I'm going to take a shot in the dark at this. All right, so I thought it was something different, and it didn't go back as far as I thought it did.
Okay.
All right, a shot in the dark, and I don't know if you've heard the term where it's unlucky to light 3 cigarettes with 1 match.
Yes.
Okay, do you know where that came from?
I do not.
All right, where that came from is the Civil War. The sides were so close to each other.
Yeah.
So they couldn't see each other because you didn't have lanterns or anything like that, or flashlights where you can, put it on them and like shoot the other ones. But they were so close to each other. But if they saw the match light up, it would take them 3 people before they could lock in on where it was at. So usually the third person would get shot from that match, and that's where it came from. So I thought shot in the dark possibly sprung off of that. Hey, you remember what did we say? What did we say right before the show, Blake?
But we didn't.
Sound off.
Yeah, no, Blake said it.
Oh,
Blake,
did you?
Blake
I'm
said
sorry,
it.
Blake. I did not hear you tonight.
Yeah, Blake, see, that's what happens.
Give me your phone, Leonard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's in timeout.
Right. All right. Oh, good. Carry the show.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I can talk for that long.
I know.
But I thought it came from, originated out of that with the
Right.
shot in the dark.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that. It actually came from an article out of the Saturday Review by a writer by the name of George Bernard Shaw.
Sure.
All right. And in 1895, he's the first person to put that in writing. Is he was taking a guess at it and taking a shot in the dark, or taking a chance on a shot in the dark. But it came out of his article, or a stab in the dark. And both of those kind of came from that article. But I was, in my mind, I was convinced, it had to come out of the
Civil War?
the Civil War,
Yeah.
and the lighting 3 cigarettes. Blake, you ever heard the 3 cigarettes bad luck?
I have not heard that.
We got a match, yeah.
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 From one match.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But that's where that bad luck came from.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah,
so-
it really does. That's a real life application of, oops.
Yeah. Don't be the
Right,
third guy.
Right, exactly. You want to be the guy lighting the first one.
Yeah.
And then hold it. Here, I'll give it to you. Right.
Yeah, no, third
Pass
guy-
the match, right.
Yeah, you
pass the
do
match.
yours
Yeah,
first.
right.
Hey.
Right.
No, so that's shot in the dark.
Okay.
It was much. I thought it would go further back,
Yeah.
but if you think about it, guns don't go that much further back. So
No, just to the Revolution.
yeah,
Well, a little bit further back
Yeah, a
than
little
that, because
further back, probably.
they're running around. Some of the they were running around
Yeah,
here when, in the 1500s.
pirates
yeah.
would carry
Yeah.
multiple single shots. And
Yep.
stuff like
Yep.
that. So
What's interesting though, and boy, that was right in and out of my head. I think there might have been a Pink Panther movie. One of the Peter Sellers movies was the Pink Panther: A Shot in the Dark. I think was the title of one of his movies. And those are fun. If you haven't seen a Pink Panther movie with Peter Sellers, they're a little dated, but they are just a lot of fun.
it's a blast. And Blake, I think I boosted the wrong show. I looked at it, and I think I shared the wrong show. So if you're watching today's show, please hit share, because I screwed up and shared the wrong show.
Duh.
But I'll tell you, this Cola Moonshine is
Wait.
really great.
Yeah, but what we'll say though, sharing the wrong show is definitely a preferable outcome compared to having your silencer off.
Oh, wow, Lenny, he turned on you quick.
In a heartbeat. And here I was. I came in trying to
on you
hand
quick.
him.
You didn't
research
give me
for
any
next
cheesy
week.
roll-ups, Leonard.
Had I known.
He knows
You know
next
what?
time.
What young man doesn't eat tacos? I'm sorry. I now know for next time.
I do not mess with the Taco Bell beef.
Yeah.
Well, wait till we talk about them. 1981, they had some interesting stuff going on there,
Whew, yeah, and I just put down 2 of those. All right,
and I got more to go.
what was your last one?
Well, we did the butter. Now we'll do the bread.
Oh, okay.
So
butter.
most people will know the expression "the best thing since sliced bread."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, in 1928, a gentleman by the name of Friedrich, because there's an extra e in there, Rowetter, invented the loaf slicing machine
Okay.
in Davenport, Iowa, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, he said it's the greatest step forward in the baking industry since bread was wrapped.
Oh.
And people paraphrased that statement and started saying any new invention that they were trying to think was great, said it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So they paraphrased his statement and turned it that way.
What year was this?
That was 1928. He said that.
28.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that you wanted to compare or any cover any new invention that was interesting was the greatest thing since sliced bread,
Okay.
which apparently was the greatest thing since they wrapped bread.
I thought it would have went back further.
Mm.
I mean, that was in, a generation that we can relate to.
Yeah, I used to go
my,
around
gra- my grandfather, my grandfather, who I had a very good relationship, was born in 17. Mm-hmm. So
Well, did they send you to the market to buy the loaves of rye bread that you had to put on that they put on the slicer for you? It was great. I lived around the corner from a store called the A&P, which is Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, which was no longer in business.
with the green stamps.
Yeah, S&H green stamps, all of them. Yeah, you had the book and you stick and lick. But I would go around the corner, and I was thinking it was 35 cents for a loaf of rye bread back then. And the best part was they'd put on the slicer, and you go, they'd go and they'd slice it, and then they'd slide it into the bag. And, it was very easy to get the little tiny heel piece off of the front end. The trick was getting the heel piece off of the back end on the bottom without having all the bread spill out of the bag. I was very adept at that.
Okay.
And then you're eating rye bread on the way home.
All right. And you being in a kitchen a lot, do you flip your bread over to slice it? Or do you slice it from the top?
Not following.
Okay,
You mean like
so
a Pullman loaf?
You get a loaf of bread.
Okay.
To keep the bread held together, you flip it upside down because the bottom side is more dense.
More crunchy, yeah.
And then you can slice it easier from the bottom side. So you never did that in the kitchen?
No, I mean, if we'd get Pullman loaves, I would just slice them from the top with a good serrated blade. You need a serrated blade or a bread knife. You'll notice that all your bread knives at home are serrated for just that reason.
Yeah.
It's easier to saw through. Yeah.
Okay. But no, I was taught that, don't slice it like that.
Right?
Flip it over.
Yeah.
You're going to waste all the bread.
You know what? There is nothing better than a fresh baked loaf of bread. And they've sort of gone by the wayside now. I don't know how many people. There was a big phase where everybody had bread machines at home and they were making their own bread. I don't hear about it as much anymore, but maybe they just do it because it's now commonplace.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd get in trouble if I tried to slice it from the top.
Yeah. Nice, good Pullman loaf, yeah.
Nana would be like, no, you know better. You know better.
Well, she raised you right.
Yeah, because, I mean, and then she would save the crumbs and cook with those, too.
Well, okay, that's good. That's no waste, not want, not breadcrumbs,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, I mean, this is family that grew up in the Depression.
Right. Ooh,
So
we
that
talked
was-
about that before, yeah, absolutely.
My grandmother and grandfather grew up in the Depression, so.
Yep. As my parents,
so you saved everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right, it's time to begin.
How do you want to wade into this?
I'm going to start in 1921.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm in Wichita, Kansas, apparently.
Here in Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
100% in Wichita, Kansas. And we're talking about White Castle, the first and original
Yeah.
fast food.
Mm,
There was other as far as franchises.
Okay.
As far as franchises, the other ones go back to 1902.
Oh, I wasn't even going back. Just 1919, but that was really 1923. So I'm giving you this one for sure.
So White Castle is the first franchise fast food that I did my research on. Did you find something different?
Well, A&W Root Beer started with a root beer stand in 1919. In 1923, they became the A&W that we know. So White Castle beats them by 2 years for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, but White Castle for us in Florida, it was Crystal.
Right.
We don't have a White Castle. I don't think we have a White Castle today in Florida, do we?
And that's a shame.
So, I mean,
Not that Crystal's bad, but White Castle
we
has more
just ate
cachet.
Taco Bell, and
Right.
the only other thing that affects my stomach worse is probably Crystal or White Castle.
I mean, I have standards, but they tend to be low from time to time when it suits me.
Yeah, you keep the hurdles low.
Right.
Keep the hurdles low.
You see how tall I am? I need them, though.
So, give me your best White Castle story.
Oh, well, a friend of mine got engaged in White Castle. White Castle in New York, they're very big on Valentine's Day, and they actually put tablecloths on and do a whole spiel, White Castle does. But White Castle, there is nothing better. Actually, there's one other thing that's better. But when you're coming home late at night, and the closest White Castle to me growing up was in Lynbrook, which was about 25 minutes, half an hour away.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better because you could get, a bag of them. And then they started getting wacky, White Castle did. They started doing chicken rings and all sorts of other products. But White Castle, a good stack of those sliders,
Yeah.
they're just
No, I
they
can tell
go
you
down
right now,
fast.
like I said,
What's your record?
I grew up with Crystal, so I'm gonna compare mine to Crystal, and I've had
they're,
White Castle.
they're fairly synonymous.
I've had White Castle when I've been up north and when I was traveling, when I was playing ball and stuff like that. And I think we did White Castle in Vegas this year, didn't we, Blake?
Yeah, we did, but
Yeah,
it was. Oh, actually, I did on my own.
Yeah, you did White Castle. I didn't. I think I passed it last year. We did it together.
Yeah.
But so it's still okay. But as growing up on Crystal, I like Crystal better than White Castle.
Oh yeah, Crystals is definitely better.
Yeah, and it's a regional thing where you grow up.
Absolutely, sure.
Have you ever had the Game Time wings, the hot wings?
And that's where I was going, Blake. In Daytona, which was one of the first Crystals in the state of Florida,
Okay.
they had a chicken section.
Really?
And the chicken section was the best chicken in town. And then we'll get to KFC and some of the things that went along with that. But my record as far as, and I do Crystals with cheese or White Castles with cheese,
sure.
my record is only 8.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
what do you think? Do you have a record, or you
For the chicken sliders, I think mine's like 2.
just 2? Huh?
Yeah, they're a little heavier than the burgers.
Yeah. I basically demolished the fries more than the sliders.
By the way, when you actually look at a White Castle patty, they are not even. They're probably about an eighth of an inch thick.
Yeah.
And they've got 5 holes in them. For
Oh, come on!
vindication.
Hey,
What the alarm did you set off for?
I set my alarm last night, so I made sure I leave. I wake up at 7 so we can get. And I was like, I wonder why my alarm didn't go off this morning.
Yeah, the AM PM back.
Now we know.
Okay.
Why my alarm didn't go off this morning.
How? Wait, hold on. Did you accidentally stumble and Siri thought you said PM?
No, I didn't say the number. I was trying to do it and not wake up other people, so I was doing it, and I didn't have my glasses on.
Well,
How much blood was in your alcohol system last night after
Too
trivia?
much.
No,
you weren't there.
That's the whole thing. You weren't at trivia. I couldn't drink, and it threw off my whole week. Because Wednesday nights I usually have 2, sometimes 3, because Blake's there to drive me home.
right.
And evidently there was like 4 different teams that bought me drinks last night that I had to turn down. So at least I have a credit for next week at trivia.
All right, that's good. Blake, you better be driving.
All right. So being the alarm went off.
Yeah.
What's the next one you want to talk about? A&W or
Well, A&W was interesting. We can do that quickly because A&W was interesting. They started setting up a side of the road root beer stand in 1919 outside of Sacramento, actually in Lodi, California, for a parade welcoming back World War I veterans, and doing the root beer, their root beer, and they didn't set up their first restaurant
was
store
it called
drive-through.
root beer or still sarsaparilla?
No, that was root beer. They were root beer.
Okay.
And that was 1923. They did their first store. Now in 1925, they actually started franchising the root beer, and they were one of the first people to franchise a product in 1925. And it was the root beer first, and then it became the restaurants. And there were 2 gentlemen. There was a gentleman by the name of Allen and a gentleman by the name of White. They were partners. They went in, and then Wright bought out. Allen brought out White. And
so that's the A&W.
That's the A&W.
Allen and Wright.
Yep.
Okay.
And what was nice about them, if you went to an A&W, and they were drive-ins with tray service more than drive-throughs at the time.
Okay.
And what was great is they had all their root beer mugs refrigerated or frozen. So when you got a frosty cold root beer, you got a frosty cold root beer, nice good thick head on it, and a very cold mug. And they were kind of quirky because they had they were the first people, or one of the first people, to name their burgers by size. So they had a Papa Burger, which was the big one, the Mama Burger, which was not quite as big, the Teen Burger, and the Baby Burger, and that's how they sort of sized them up. So that was A&W. And I still like their root beer to this day.
Okay, and the thing I remember about A&W, and we had an A&W that turned into a Tasty Freeze, but early on it was an A&W. I don't know if you guys had Tasty Freeze.
No.
Yeah.
The A&W's kind of sat in the middle of normally a parking lot or something
Right.
like that. You
Yeah.
just walked up to the counter.
Yep.
You remember that, Blake?
I do remember that because they still have A&Ws in Ohio, and specifically one A&W that I remember. It was an A&W and Long John Silver's combination. So
Yeah, because isn't it A&W, Long John Silver, and Kentucky Fried Chicken? One of those other ones just
they combine with each other. But
they're all the same owners. But
Well, that's Young Brand, yeah.
yeah, but I remember at A&W, my special treat was a root beer float.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So isn't the A&W root beer cans that we have different from the A&W restaurants out there? So they have a different recipe for the root beer there?
No, I think it's the same brand.
Yeah.
That's where the brand, where he was talking about with
Yeah.
the brand coming from. It was the first time the branding was done.
Yeah. So I actually believe it's 2 separate formulas for the in-store and can version.
Well, you're probably going to have the syrup difference than what you would.
Right.
It would be like having a canned Coke
And a
compared
fountain
to
Coke.
a fountain Coke.
Yeah.
You're going to have the formula is going to be different.
All right. I'll be validating in the comments, I guess.
Okay. All right. So no, they're going to
Pull
take,
for me, Bobby.
a little different. So, well, Bobby's on his way to the Jumbo Shrimp game. But that's the one thing I remember about A&W is the ice cream floats when I was a kid.
Right.
So that was a special treat. All right. I'm going to go to the drive-through.
Okay.
So the drive-through was created because of a McDonald's that was next to a military base.
Well,
And
you're a little late. You're a little late in the game, but go on.
okay, but that was like the dry, and that's where it became really popular.
Right.
And it was because the military guys were not allowed to go into restaurants in their uniforms, but they wanted to be able to pick up on the way home. Who wants to go home and then come back out?
Right,
It
right.
just, it just
It's an extra
doesn't work.
trip, yeah.
So that's how it kind of created, and the craze was created. And In-N-Out Burger actually started a little bit before that. All right, and In-N-Out Burger started in East LA.
48.
Yeah, in 1948, in Baldwin Park, East LA.
Yep.
And the one thing I love about In-N-Out now, if you go, and I think the furthest, I think Houston.
They're in Idaho. They were going to expand, and they stopped because they wanted their products to make sure they were fresh. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think they're opening one in Idaho.
I think Houston is the furthest east they are.
Okay.
And it's still a family. It's not a
Privately
publicly
held.
traded- It's a family
Privately held.
owned
Yeah.
business. And a lot of people on the East Coast have never had In-N-Out Burger.
Right.
No one, they haven't had a double-double.
Right.
So, but In-N-Out kind of perfected eating in your car. And if you go there, they actually will ask you, are you going to eat it in your car? Or are you going to take it home? And if you say, and always say you're going to eat it in your car, because they give you like a little tray,
Right.
and it's like a cardboard thing, and it's, you can eat it in your car without getting it all over you. Right. So In-N-Out Burger kind of, to me, has perfected dining in your car.
All right. I'm actually going to say something that's a little bit hearsay to In-N-Out fans.
Uh-huh.
Their fries kind of suck.
I'm not a fan of their fries either.
Okay. I
a
can't
fan.
weigh in because I've had their fries in the past, but I don't have a frame of reference on whether they suck or not.
Yeah,
They're not that crispy.
it
They're
depends.
like very thin and limpy.
Yeah.
Well, there's this whole changeover, and I think Burger King was the first one to do it. Unfortunately, McDonald's hasn't. That they do the coated fries now. They stay crispier, they stay warmer, but there's a cornmeal or cornstarch coating on the outside of it.
Why would McDonald's mess with its fries? It's
Well,
best
they did in
thing.
1990. No. You got to realize, Blake, that well before you were born, they used to fry their fries in beef tallow. McDonald's fries were fried in beef tallow, and that was fabulous. But in 1990, they changed it to pure vegetable oil, and it was a big thing, and people started wondering why the fries tasted differently.
That'd be awesome.
Now, there's a whole lot less people that remember the beef tallow than remember the vegetable oil, unfortunately or fortunately.
All right, Dad, I need your opinion on this.
okay.
So, so you were born before they changed over to vegetable oil. What do you remember of those fries?
Well, I can tell you right now, to me, it comes down to how hot the fry is. Because once a French fry gets cold,
Oh, yeah, they forget
out.
it. They're soggy.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
McDonald's. It doesn't matter if it's Burger King. It doesn't matter if it's Checkers. By the way, Checkers fries,
Good.
season.
I know.
They're a solid fry. But to me, still the best is right out of the fryer, McDonald's. And, it probably, I didn't realize when the change took place at McDonald's.
1990,
but I was probably already addicted
Right.
to McDonald's French fries by that point. So I didn't notice.
Now, do you know that, so if you get a large fry and it's got that little red cup that it's in, there's that little arch thing at the top of it?
Yes.
Do you notice if you fold that down because it's hinged, if you fold that down, that's where you're supposed to keep your ketchup.
Okay.
So it's a little ketchup shelf that you can use.
All
All right. I'll look for that next
just
time.
passing that on for those of you who are going to look someplace to put your ketchup when you're having your fries.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm a big fan of using the box, too. And I will say, in all fairness to McDonald's, once a year, I will have a Big Mac.
I
Just because.
I binge about every 3 months.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, I think I did a double cheeseburger.
Yeah. I like the double cheeseburger.
Because here's my leeriness of McDonald's is if I'm going through the drive-through and I order a Big Mac, I don't know if it's fresh or not because they don't always make double cheeseburgers.
Right.
So that's why I always order a double cheeseburger, is because it's not one of the more common things on their menu. Right. So I feel like it's made for me.
And the double cheeseburger is my go-to as a rule there. You know, I don't do the quarter pounders any longer. And like I said, once a year a Big Mac just because. But from time to time, my wife will tug on my sleeve and say, all right, it's time. And I know that we're going to McDonald's for a fillet of fish.
Best fast food burger. Blake, what you got?
Just burger only, so no like chicken sandwich.
It's just burger. We're talking burgers right now.
Oh, damn it.
You're not a burger. Blake's not a
Probably
burger
going
guy.
in and out.
Okay.
I'll probably say Wendy's Baconator.
Wendy's bacon. That's not a bad choice.
Actually-
And I like Culver's.
Culver's is the beer,
Okay, yeah,
the Butterburgers.
Culver's.
The
Well, you know
Butterburger.
what? There's a place in Altamont Springs, and it's a franchise. It's called Backyard Burgers,
Okay.
and those burgers are actually really very good. Backyard Burgers, and it's interesting because there's no inside. It's a double drive-through, 2 drive-throughs, so you can come on the left or the right of the building.
And I had a great,
and that's got some
I had a
great burgers, backyard burgers.
I had a great burger at the ballpark in New York City.
At Citi Field?
Shake Shack.
Okay.
Shake Shack burger was very, very good. But I think Culver's is just nudging out Five Guys for me.
Yeah, Five Guys. I like Five Guys because you know what I like about the Five Guys burger is the nooks and crannies. Because when they put the cheese on it, the cheese melts into the burger itself, so it doesn't sit on top. It kind of gets into all the little crevices in the patty itself.
Yeah.
And I really like that a lot.
Oh boy, the Five Guys is expensive compared to other fast food joints.
Culver's is up there too.
Yeah.
Well, they all are these days. You know, it's everything's sneaking up.
All right. I think it's time we got to do a little more sponsor
Little
reads.
business?
We're going to talk about Coquina Coast Realty. If you guys have anything you want to do in real estate, give me a call. And if you're a fan of Creedence Clearwater Revival,
Yeah.
that's how I ended up with the name, CCR.
It's easy to remember.
Yep. Coquina Coast Realty. Give me a call, 904-669-7901. Abare, Kresge and Associates. If you need a CPA, if you need some advice on your taxes, if you're doing a 1031 exchange, if you don't know what that means, you probably need to give them a call if you're selling some property.
Right.
And that's Abare, Kresge and Associates, the best CPAs in town. The Roosevelt Room. I think it's the best breakfast in town. They have an amazing event space. They do lunch and breakfast. Roosevelt Room. If you haven't tried the avocado toast there, you got to give that a try. And the candy bacon, Blake. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but you're going to absolutely love it.
Okay.
Have you tried the candy bacon?
I
there?
have not yet, so
All right.
so can't wait to try it out.
All right, we're gonna get that for you. All right, River and Fort. To me, they have the best appetizer in town, the Grand Tower. It's a seafood appetizer. The whole table can share. Just amazing fresh food, great wine, great bars,
Great
just
views.
amazing atmosphere. Bob and Jeff over there do a great job. They support local events. I know they're sponsoring the Women's Refuge
Okay.
event this Saturday, the golf tournament for local stuff. So, and all of our sponsors, I'm looking at the sponsors on there. There's not one on there that's not involved in our community. So it makes me so proud that they're our sponsors. Another one, overly active. If it's even possible to be overly active in the community, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Cindy over there, their director is just a wonderful person, always involved, always changing, always looking to improve. The Croce family brought this museum to us from Key West. It's such a nice addition to St. Augustine, and we're so happy they're a part of our show. And we need to get Captain Meehan back in here.
I think so.
So we need to get Captain. We might need to set up another mic in here, Blake.
Okay.
All right, the Meehans. I'm going to let you talk about Meehans.
It's a place I love. The people are fabulous. The staff is outstanding. Reggie, the owner, is one of the hardest working restaurant owners in the business. He builds, he does maintenance. They close 4 or 5 times a year to do a deep clean, so the restaurant is pristine. Some of the best oysters I've had there. Up at the Oyster Bar, Johnny's Oyster Bar, they've got a beautiful outside porch overlook. You want to talk about views looking over the bay? The outside porch there is fabulous. The backyard, the tiki bar in the backyard, the backyard bar with live music. Even as it gets chillier in, 5 months from now when we have 2 weeks of cold, they've got, fire pit tables to warm the cockles of your heart, along with fishbowl drinks.
What in my heart?
The cockles.
Oh.
The cockles. Those are little shellfish things in your
Okay.
heart.
The cockles in my
The cockles
heart.
of your heart.
Okay. I didn't know I had those in there.
You do. You do.
It makes me nervous. I feel like I need to
Well, we can
eat less fatty food.
Well,
We all should.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a little. It's the calcium. It's good
We're
for
talking
you.
about fast food right now. Like,
We are. We are.
Anything to do with heart right now makes me nervous.
Yeah, right. Well, the blood will pump just more slowly.
Yeah.
Chef Chris does great specials there, and the main bar downstairs, the pub downstairs, is fabulous. And again, the only thing I say is when you go there, try the Irish cream. They make it in house every day. And it is just, you don't know if it's a drink, a dessert, or just a little bit of heaven.
Yeah, it's so yummy.
Yep.
All right, last but not least, St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. St. Augustine Distillery was named the best tasting tour in the country. The best tasting tour in the country. We're not talking in Northeast Florida. We're not talking in Florida. We're talking the entire country. And I've done the tasting tour, the Jack Daniel's tasting tour in Gatlinburg and some of those. It's okay. Nothing compared to St. Augustine Distillery.
Here's a question. When you do the Jack Daniel's tour, are you allowed to taste?
Yes.
The distillery's not in the...
No.
The tour's not in the dry county?
In Gatlinburg.
Okay.
In Gatlinburg, you do the tasting tour in Gatlinburg, which is not in a dry county.
Okay.
It's not where...
The distillery is?
The distillery is, exactly.
Okay.
Because it is a dry county, you can't do it there.
How goofy is that?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Still in Lynchburg.
Right.
Can't do it there.
Keeps the staff from drinking too much.
All right, but we're drinking today cola moonshine, and like I said, it tastes to me like a vanilla Coke.
Yep. You're right on with that.
It's scary. It's scary good with the flavors. Could get you in trouble, but drink responsibly. It's why I'm only having one.
Hey, I'm done, and I'm not going to refill. I got to drive home safely.
Yep. So, but give those guys a call. Citygate Spirits. Amazing flavors. We got more moonshine. We got I asked the distillery to kind of give us some of their other liqueurs.
Yeah.
So we might have to do some mixed drinks next week.
Okay.
Because we got some vodkas and rums and some other stuff in there
that
I
be
don't
nice.
necessarily drink straight.
No.
Okay. No. So we might have to do a little bit different on our I guess can't call it whiskey of the week. The alcohol.
The beverage of the week.
Yes.
The adult beverage of the week.
All right. Where do you want to go from here?
Well, I want to back up on just a couple of quick things because the first drive-through in the country was in 1947 in Springfield, Missouri, if you can believe that.
Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri.
You're gonna have to show me.
And it was Red's Giant Hamburg, not hamburger, but Red's Giant Hamburg was the first drive-through restaurant in the country, and they did that to replace the car hops.
Okay.
So right there was, right there, so much for labor.
Yeah.
They took the kids off of roller skates and they let the people deal with them themselves. And then the largest drive-through is one that people may very well be familiar with because it's quite famous, is the Varsity in Atlanta.
Okay.
I haven't been there. It is on my bucket list of places to go.
It's not the Chick-fil-A on US 1.
No.
Because it feels like that's the largest one.
Well, they just keep adding lanes and lanes and lanes and lanes. By the way, the Chick-fil-A is the slowest drive-through in fast food.
Yeah, so it's
over 8.5 minutes.
The slowest.
Yeah.
No, and believe me, I feel it every morning when I'm running a little bit late.
Okay. But yeah, so in Springfield, Missouri, they did it. Red's Giant Hamburg, and then the Varsity in Atlanta takes two full blocks and has seating for 800 people. So another fascinating,
inside. Okay, it has 800 seating inside, but it still has the largest drive-through.
Yep, it's a drive-in. I'm sorry,
drive-in.
Drive-in.
Oh, drive-in,
not a drive-through.
Okay, so
drive-in. Yeah, absolutely.
Drive-in.
Right, you drive in park.
Sonic is a drive.
Correct.
And they have a drive-through.
Correct.
And in the land, we had a drive-in really for a long time, and it started as a Sugar Top, and then it became Hampton's, and it was more of a chicken place.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Great fried chicken. And it was Hampton's Drive-In. And when I was a kid, I remember them on roller skates later on. Same people still waiting on us took off their roller skates.
Really?
Yeah. They got a little older.
Yeah. The knees didn't work.
And I think that's where my mom and dad actually had their first date. They met at Conrad Baseball Field in downtown DeLand, where the Stetson Hatters play and where I played DeLand High
Main
School.
Street USA, baby.
Yeah. And, so they met there, but I think their first date was actually at the Sugar. I think it was Sugar Top. It became Hampton. It was Hampton's by the time I remember it.
Right. Okay. Well,
Did you go to a drive-in as a kid, or?
Yeah, went to one that was just over the Long Beach Bridge in Island Park, and it was called Wetson's.
Okay.
And it was great because you could look through the window on the side to see what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I always got a kick out of the big, the big giant ketchup hopper with the squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
So they put the burgers out, and then they go over boom, 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 boom with the ketchup. They put on the dehydrated onion cubes, throw a pickle on, put the bun on, wrap it all up, and you're out the door.
Yeah.
That was Wetson's, and then that became a place called Joseph's, and then it got torn down and became a Starbucks.
All right.
But there is a place on Long Island that is still quite famous for anybody from Long Island called All American Drive-In. And it's a drive-in, not a drive-through, but they have 5 people at the counter because the lines go right out the door. Hand-cut French fries. They have a double-double, double-double with cheese. Great. And it's a family-run business, and it's, every now and again we're in town and I'm craving something, burger-like. I'll go to All American.
Yeah.
It's really pretty great.
All right.
I like those.
All right. We're talking about drive-through, so I want to talk about that. You and Blake, whoever comes the closest, is the winner of trivia today.
Okay.
What percentage of meals are eaten in the car in the U.S.?
Eating in the car. 35.
Blake?
I'm going to go and say 24.
It's actually 20% of meals are eaten in the car.
Okay.
But still a lot.
I think I was shocked that it was that high. So you're not, you actually went higher.
I went way higher. Well, yeah. Well, my faith in, in
And you've owned how many restaurants?
3 and worked in about another 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Any of them have a drive-through?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But I will tell you.
And here's another thing that it's a very cultural thing. Like in Texas, they don't judge you for going through a drive-through. Mm-hmm. Evidently, in New York, it's frowned upon to even eat at fast food and go through a drive-through.
Really?
So I mean, you're from New York, and that's just what I was reading. It's just the cultural acceptance of it. If you get caught at McDonald's in New York, they're like, oh, no, you'd rather be at a gay bar than be caught at McDonald's. Even as a heterosexual man, you'd rather be, oh, no, I was just there, buying drugs.
Right, exactly.
I wasn't eating at McDonald's. I was there to buy drugs,
No, I didn't realize that.
Evidently in Texas, completely acceptable.
Because
Florida, everything's acceptable.
Well, that goes without saying. And leave me alone.
Blake, what were you going to say? I'm sorry, I jumped on you.
So is that percent for the average American throughout the year, or where does that 20% come from?
I think it's working Americans. I think I should have worded it that way as working Americans.
So they go through the drive-through, but they take it home instead of eating in the car.
Well, no, I mean
it's not 20% of people.
How much actually gets home when you buy it?
Well, certainly very few of the fries.
The fries are gone.
That's why I have to get 2 fries, right?
The fries never
right,
make it.
Exactly. But that also brokers into what you were saying, because if you get home, they're cold fries, and what's the point?
Exactly.
You got to eat them while they're hot.
Exactly. No, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
But I will say now you're a hirsute individual, as am I, with a beard.
Yes.
I marvel at ice cream stores that have a drive-through. Mm-hmm. First of all, eating soft serve with a beard is difficult enough as it is.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But there's a wonderful ice cream place on Anastasia Island called Coneheads, and it's I marvel at the fact that it's got a drive-through window for an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that can actually even work. First of all, you're sitting in your car. More of that ice cream would be in my lap than in my face.
See, and that's where our Tasty Freeze, our A&W that turned into Tasty Freeze, it ended up having a drive-through in it. And it was just... You okay in there, Blake?
I'm good. It was just a chair.
Okay.
Yeah. I was hearing things
sounded
too.
Sounded like he hit the Taco Bell. So we had that, but I can't, like you said, with the beard.
Yeah,
because I already get it all over me.
Right.
I need to have,
multiple napkins
and a wet wipe, and for the face.
And I
wipe
like
down.
a good soft serve, a good Carvel or a good soft serve ice cream.
I'm not a hater on any ice cream.
Yeah, nope. Interesting though. So, now it's all commonplace. You go up to the outdoor menu behind the building as you're coming around, and you talk into the you speak into the static, and they speak back to you in the static, and you hope that they heard what you were saying. You know when that started, and more importantly, where it started?
1951. Was it Jack in the Box?
Well, yes, Jack in the Box, but it actually started he bought the technology from a guy in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
A place called Chatterbox in Anchorage, Alaska in 1947.
Chatterbox, is that like a app or something?
It could be. It could be now.
Is Chatterbox a? Okay, couldn't hear you, Blake.
I'm trying to find it out. What a chatterbox? That's just one word, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all one word.
There was a place, and it kind of makes sense now as we're talking this out loud, that Chatterbox in Anchorage, Alaska was the first drive-up or drive-in or drive-through restaurant that had an intercom system.
Okay, I thought it was Jack in the Box, but that
Well,
probably was
what
a
happened
franchise.
was, no, you're absolutely correct, because Robert Oscar Peterson, the man who opened Jack in the Box,
Yeah.
one of my personal favorites, by the way, in 1947, he bought the rights to the intercom system.
Okay.
And in 1951, he put the clown head on it and opened the first drive-through with the intercom system.
speak
And that's
to
where it
Jack.
started.
Speak to
Talk
Jack.
to Jack.
Talk to
Exactly.
Jack,
Yeah.
You know, the greatest thing about Jack in the Box, in my opinion, first of all, is that they're open late. And again, you know, much like White Castle sliders, the Jack in the Box tacos.
Yeah.
Nothing better than those you'll eat.
No, I'm not joking. But no, they're famous for them.
Yes, they are. Because
But-
you know, in 2017, they sold 554 million tacos. There's still.
I don't think I've ever had a Jack in the Box.
Oh, you have not lived. Actually, Burger King tried them for a while too.
Okay.
It's an interesting product because they come to the stores frozen.
I've seen them on the menu, and they've been on the menus for decades.
Ever.
I don't think I've ever ordered a taco
Oh.
from Jack in the Box.
2 for 99 cents.
Well, not
They come
anymore.
in. Yeah.
What?
I mean,
Not anymore.
I looked it up today. You know, there's an app price. If you do it on the app, it's 2 for 99 cents. And I looked at a couple other places. And by the way, just for the record, Jack in the Box, if you're listening, your online ordering in your app is horrible. I'm just telling you
Get it
right
right.
now.
But still bring one to Florida, though.
That would be lovely.
Well,
But
there
Burger,
used
but
to be
Burger,
a Jack in the Box in Florida.
Burger King went on.
Daytona.
There's 2,218 Jack in the Boxes in 21 states.
Okay. The one in Daytona closed down years
Yeah.
and years and years.
Yeah, they
ago,
opened, they
along
closed.
with
Yeah.
Frisch's Big Boy.
Oh, as opposed to Bob's.
Yeah, no, Frisch.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What they had
That's
the
easy
little
for you to
statue-
say. Yeah.
Did they
The
have
Big
Bob?
Boy.
Yeah, it was Frisch's.
Yeah.
Here, what it was Bob's?
It's Bob's Big Boy.
Really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just in California, but Bob's Big Boy. I don't know.
I thought you were in New York. Were you saying California?
Because they don't have them in New York.
Okay.
I travel.
Okay.
I travel and I know things. But the tacos, they come into the store frozen. They've got the ground beef in there, and they deep fry them, and then they open the top. They put in, and I don't understand how they do it because it's basically a triangle piece of American cheese, and they put in a lettuce and their hot sauce, which is very, very, very similar to the mild Taco Bell hot sauce. Very similar. And they're delicious. They're crunchy. They're great. I love them.
All right. Yeah, Frisch's Big Boy. I just pulled it up. Is that
Okay.
the same one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Frisch's. It was started by David Frisch
Okay.
in Cincinnati in 1939.
Okay.
And basically it was around, and right now it doesn't have that many stores left, but it was around up until like 2017.
And it doesn't link to Bob's at all?
It's not
Interesting.
not listing to Bob's at all. David Frisch's.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
yep,
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
yeah. So,
And then
Frisch's-
we can't leave without talking about Taco Bell.
yeah.
I
tell you-
love me some Taco Bell.
And I just found this out, and I don't know if you found this out in your research. Taco Bell is open even when you're not drunk.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Who knew?
How many times have you told this joke before?
And
now?
why?
Oh, so many times. That doesn't stop it from being a good joke. Like, it
Yeah.
does not stop it from
Taco
being
Bell open. Taco Bell open while you're sober.
Yeah.
Blood on your blood, alcohol in your blood system.
Blake, just because I have 22 jokes in my entire repertoire and I've been through all of them, Lenny's heard all of them over the years, you've heard them all, doesn't mean they're not good jokes.
Yeah.
Still a good joke.
Yeah.
Very true.
So,
And you know, and I like Taco Bell because their marketing is really pretty wonderful. They're open late. They think outside the bun. They encourage you to have fourth meal. I appreciate all of those, but my favorite of all Taco Bell advertising campaigns was Gidget. And I'm not talking Sally Field in a bikini on the beach with
Okay,
Moondoggy.
I instantly went there.
Yep, nope.
Okay.
Do you remember the little Chihuahua?
Well, that was what Chihuahua's name?
Gidget.
Yeah.
Okay. I still get a kick out of it and can have my wife rolling, and I go, here, lizard, here, because they did a cross promotion when the Godzilla movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
And the and the little Chihuahua was trying to catch Godzilla. So the little snare trap with the stick holding up the box that was on the angle with the string on it, and Godzilla would come and stomp, and little Gidget would go, I think I'm going to need a bigger box.
Yeah.
So I love that.
All right. So it looks like we got 5 minutes left. So I want to ask you guys around. Like so it's what's like one service or what's one order that you remember from a fast food place like was like the service just terrible, like do you have like a horror story from fast food?
Oh, I have so many horror stories from fast food. I can tell you this, one of the funnier stories. I was a little intoxicated, and I was sitting in the back of a Toyota truck with Blake's mom and my best friend Chuck, and they're both sitting in the front, and they're both starving. All right, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm being annoying. I'm being a pest like I am when I may or may not have had that extra drink.
One too many.
That extra drink. I'm a little more loquacious than I probably should be. And
wow, I'm not buying any of that. You're always loquacious.
His mom kept trying to order because she was the designated driver that night, so she's sober, so she's even more annoyed with me than anyone else. And I'm trying to be funny, and so I'm sitting in the back seat, and the person comes on the Taco Bell thing, and I kept yelling, "I want it to go." And like they would say something. They were being super nice and patient with me, and I'm like, because they put up with it all the time, and I was like, no. Did you get it? I want it to go. And they're like, sir, you might be too intoxicated, And they're like, and they put on the manager, and it's like I'm talking like 3:00 in the morning, and this person comes on the thing and goes, well, I'm the manager, and you need to be. I was like, you're the manager. You gave yourself some shitty hours, and like I'm actually having an argument through the thing, and I get up and I finally get him to laugh. Like that was my goal.
Right.
I wasn't really trying to annoy him. I just wanted him to laugh, and I finally got him to laugh. And by the time I got up there, they started giving us all these other food, and Taco Bell is the worst about going through the drive-through. Like they never get your order right.
It's bad.
Huh?
It's bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But that day we actually got extra food.
Well, there you go.
Because I wouldn't let up, and like his mom and Chuck were like, "Shut up!" I was like, "No, they're gonna laugh."
Damn it, I'm working here. Leave me alone. Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But there's so many bad. You can get the wrong order. What's Joe Pesci? What happens when you go through the drive-through? Isn't it in Lethal Weapon? When you go through the drive-through.
Yeah.
You never go through the drive-through. When you go through the drive-through, they fuck you when you go through the drive-through. I think it's Lethal Weapon. So.
Yeah. No, I'm, I haven't had too many problems at that, but, I'm also always checking because you got 8 items. You need to make sure you have 8 items. You got 4 items, and make sure you have 4 items. Most of them are usually yours. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Chick-fil-A, literally, I joked about it on the morning show, but Chick-fil-A, I spent like $50 on Chick-fil-A for the 5 of us at the house, and they forgot our fries.
Always get a receipt.
Yeah, Rebecca went back and got us some little extra passes, and she went to the one on US 1, and they gave us passes to the one on 16. True, Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So wait, it was store specific?
Yep.
Yeah, it was store specific on the little card, and the store we went to,
right?
They gave us the passes for the other store. Good planning on that one.
All right. So Lenny, what's your story? What's your fast food story?
I don't have too many horror stories in fast food.
You're a pretty passive guy.
Come on. Until you really rile me up. But as a rule, I'm easygoing, and my wife just fell out of her chair.
Yeah. All right. Then in that case, so I definitely want to talk about my story, but you'll definitely help me out with this.
Okay.
It's the Daytona Beach tornado.
Oh yeah. So we actually are at Crystal, and you know how the Crystals are built so shoddy.
Yeah.
Okay, they're built. They literally plop like a mobile home down and tie it down. And we're at Crystal. I think we were coming back from an Orlando game or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think so as well.
And I look out, and there's a tornado like a half a mile away from us. So I send Blake into the bathroom with his mom, and I'm sitting there watching, make sure it doesn't come near us, and just kind of being more investigative than anything else. And that's his crystal story, is him hiding out like at 8 years old in a crystal. So, and he still likes the chicken wings.
Yeah, but they closed all of our locations here.
Yeah, they're all closed up. I think there's
Well,
one
the
in
weather was.
Blackhand.
Isn't still one on 16 by 95?
No, that one's gone.
Really?
gone.
Because the one on US 1 was. I know what you're talking about with building. I mean, they knocked that down with a stiff breeze.
Yeah,
When they
no.
demolished that one like that.
Yeah, I think they hit it with a spoon.
Pretty much. That was gone.
Hey, guess what? This is the end of our show.
We're done.
Yeah,
Man,
this is all we got. Well, I mean,
we need a bigger boat.
which fast food place did you not do that people need to look up? That's an interesting story.
Well, I think people should investigate a little backyard burgers if they're going toward
Backyard burgers?
Backyard burger. I know there's one in Tennessee, but there's one in Altamont Springs, and the burger was great. I mean, they got
Backyard burger.
They got a couple, three different sizes.
So we're going to check it out.
Yep.
Hey, guys, this is Bollox Talks and Tangents. If you would, hit that share button. If you enjoyed it, hit that share button. If you didn't enjoy it, hit the share button and tell them how awful it was, so then maybe they hit the share button because they loved it and you had terrible taste. But thank you again to all our sponsors. Lenny, great job. Your
Always a
burger
pleasure.
expertise shows.
It's true. I'm a
physically.
trained professional.
Not physically. I mean, that wasn't a jab. Now it might have been. But we thank you guys, and we'll be back next week, 6:34, Bollox Talks and Tangents.